When they heard the sirens go off, they grabbed their son and ran. They knew this moment was coming, and they had prepared. But Silas saw the fire in the sky and knew that running to the bunker would keep them safe. 2 stories underground and covered by brick and cement, they were prepared to wait out the war in their well-stocked bunker. Past layers of security to keep out intruders, they made it to safety and were ready for what was ahead. That didn't make it easier, though, because as the fighting raged on above ground, so did it below ground. Days turned into months, months into years, and their new family came to learn that this was the only way to survive. Welcome to Simspacio and to this speed build of an underground bunker. Let's get into it. So as you saw, we are building an underground bunker with the idea that there is like a nuclear war going on that's going to make living above ground unsafe or uninhabitable. I love the idea of having a secret entrance to the bunker in the outhouse of Caldera Camp, which was a pre-made home that came with the Island Living expansion pack. So I first have a ladder going down and then 2 sets of doors and another stairwell as like the main entrance. The walls, floors, ceilings, they're all going to be cinder blocks, which sounds like a sturdy way to build a bunker. And then I have the bunker sectioned off into 2 areas, really, and this main hallway here connects the 2. The first section is going to hold the generators, utilities, greenhouses, or the rooms focused on survival, and then the second section will be the living area. This first part is the generator room. I had the idea that this would be filled with all the machinery and technology needed to survive for who knows how many years underground. This build does not have the off-the-grid lot trait, but in theory it should be self-sufficient. I used a lot of like the funny electronics looking items from the Get Famous pack and some weird machinery stuff from Get to Work. And then you'll notice throughout this build that I am using a lot of like little electrical boxes and the new burglar alarms because I feel like it gives this more of a fortress impression where they're all secured with these alarms. And then I initially went through the debug list and was looking for anything to add that would help make this look packed with like technology, the technology needed to survive. The pipes and tubes in each room also help add to this like underground appeal. This second room is slightly more functional if you're trying to play off the grid because the technology that I added was from Eco Lifestyle. So both the generators here that I'm putting in and then also the atmospheric water generator. I guess that wouldn't really make sense underground, but we're going to pretend it makes sense. If they really are trying to survive down here for like multiple decades, then it would make sense that they have all these tanks filled with the materials that they would need to maintain the generators working. So that's what I'm adding in here. I'd say Get to Work was probably the most helpful pack for the large technology and these tanks. But the Get Famous pack just had so many like cool looking carts with all these displays and whatnot. And then back to the first room. I'm not showing it here, but I am intending for that small room to be a trash area because they're going to need some place to store their trash or to turn it into like another resource. Onto the first of 2 greenhouses. The idea would be that they would have a bunch of food stored. I don't really have any expansion pack that comes with items that look like boxes of food or canned goods, so I didn't add any storeroom or pantry, but I did decide to make 2 greenhouse rooms for them to grow their food. They're really simple rooms with just like planters, hoses on the wall, and then a little workstation where they would plant seeds or care for their plants and tools. This first room is going to hold all the vegetables. So with the packs that I have, my Sims would have carrots, onions, mushrooms, potatoes on one side, and then the other side would have green peas, bell peppers, soybeans, and tomatoes, even though I guess technically that's not a fruit. Each expansion pack is going to come with different items, but in the build that I uploaded to the gallery, that's what I put. Something really cool is if you search in the gallery for a room with the name of whatever plant you'd like to put, you can get like a fully grown and sometimes even those perfect plants that you can just click and drag into its position into the bunker and then go back and delete the room that you downloaded. That's what I did to get most of the fruits and veggies. We're on to the second greenhouse room. As you can see, this one holds my fruits and herbs. I realized after finishing that there were way more fruits to choose from, but here I included raspberries and grapes, 4 fruit trees, which were lemon, pear, apple, and cherry, and then the back section there that was like more black would have the herbs, the sage, parsley, and spinach. Then I just finished off the room with a woodworking station and another table to work on. So those are all the survival rooms, and then I'm going to move on to the actual living area where I'd assume my Sims are going to spend most of their time. The layout will be like walking in, you have a living room, and then off to one side you have the kitchen, while off to the other side leads to the family room, bedrooms, and bathrooms. There are 2 bedrooms, both with their own full bathrooms, and the first is more for the parents, while the second is shared between the older brother and the younger sister that I have in my Sims household. I clearly couldn't decide on a theme for this bunker because while the outer rooms are more industrial, I felt like I could make the living areas really simple and somewhat futuristic. So I ended up using the Desert Luxe pack, which I had gotten for free during one of like the sales that they have where they give away packs. And honestly, I love the simple vibes. It made all the rooms look stoic and simple, which they are. If you notice, I did not add any wall decorations throughout the entire living area, and the only thing that I used to add some personality would be like the books, the games, and all the other belongings that they're storing on the shelves. So the kitchen counters that you see here, they give a nice earthy look, and those came from For Rent, while most of the decorations in the kitchen are like cottage living items or base game. I always think I'm using too many packs for these builds, but at least for this instance, I was really prioritizing the look of it, which was really particular and wasn't nearly as easy to furnish with just like base game items or just a few expansion packs. Anyways, onto the living room. I was focusing on using as many items from Desert Luxe to give that both futuristic and simple living vibe that I was envisioning. I loved how the fireplace added character to the room, but I don't think it would be functional in a real bunker because you don't really have a way to get any firewood, and 2, you don't have anywhere for the smoke to escape if you're trying to keep your bunker fully sealed like from a nuclear war. I filled the shelves with activities and books, which is how, in my mind, they would be spending their days. And then I started to see how adding small lamps and candles made the room a lot cozier than like the big overhead lights that I initially added. Overall, this room is very bare and boring, but it would probably be bare and boring living in a bunker, so I think it works. This is the family room, and while I don't actually know the difference between a family room and a living room, I feel like this is the one where the family would be spending more of their time because it has more activities and it has the TV. I, of course, added the shelves again over the couch, which aren't even bookshelves. They're actually the curtain mount that comes with the Desert Luxe pack, which is why you keep seeing me have to place all these items by raising them up with the 9 key. The curtain mounts went into place just a little bit too low for where the items were sitting, but depending on what angle you're looking at them, they either look right or wrong. So I had to go back in and adjust all of that. And then the doors to both bedrooms come off of this room, and I added a little game table in the corner there with the TV over top. The parents' bedroom is so simple, but I kept it that way because I didn't have any decoration that was going to maintain the look of simple and earthy. I added dressers from the Dream Home Decorator pack, which is an amazing pack, and it also gave us these funky lights for the bedroom. The bathroom is equally as simple with the tub, sink, and toilet all coming from the season's expansion pack, but I liked the earth tones and simple design that it came with. And then, as you saw, I copied the exact same items for the kids' bathroom. The kids' bedroom has a bunk bed for the little sister and underneath a desk from Tiny Living. She's more of the artistic type, so I added canvases for her. The brother, though, is more of the musician type, so he has a piano that he can play with. My last step was going through, deleting all of the overhead lighting and adding back in smaller lights that gave either warmer light or just felt more futuristic. This felt like a nice final touch to round everything out, and then I took a step back and I admired my work. I hope you've enjoyed this speed build and the little storyline that went with it. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about the build and the video. It's been really fun hearing from everyone, and I hope to keep making videos that inspire your creativity in The Sims 4. Until next time, thanks for watching.